Good morning, everyone. Dear participants, if we can have your attention and ask you to please take your seats. We'll begin now. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to welcome you all to this open-ended intergovernmental working group on the reflection on a broader implementation of Article 18 of the 2003 Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. I'd like to start by extending a warm thank you to everyone participating in this meeting. I know how busy everyone is at this time of year, juggling different responsibilities, and many are going from one meeting to another at the moment. There's a lot going on, so we appreciate your participation. And indeed, this meeting is taking place in a rather special context as the 2003 Convention celebrates its 20th anniversary this year. With 181 state parties, our convention has made a significant progress since its adoption by the 32nd session of the General Conference of UNESCO on the 17th of October in 2003. There are many milestones, but most importantly, we can see how the convention has enlarged the concept of cultural heritage to include living heritage, while firmly establishing its safeguarding at the international level as a key reference for setting up and implementing public policies and laws for many, many countries around the world. The 2003 Convention has raised awareness of the importance of the living heritage and the central role of communities for creating, enacting, and transmitting the practices, skills, and knowledge that are central to their identity and continuity. So the celebration year provides an important opportunity for stakeholders to take stock of the impacts made by the 2003 Convention over the last 20 years, and perhaps to reflect on the directions that the Convention should take in the coming decades. And in terms of taking directions, the governing bodies of the Convention have considered it important to think together how to fully encourage the sharing of safeguarding experiences in a broader manner, and that for the benefit of communities, bearers and practitioners of living heritage. And this is why a reflection has been initiated to explore this question with reference to Article 18 of the 2003 Convention, which is indeed about the selection and sharing of programs, projects, and activities for living heritage safeguarding that best reflect the principles and objectives of the Convention. I'd like to also take this opportunity now to warmly thank the government of Sweden for financially supporting the reflection process at hand and allowing us to hold this open-ended intergovernmental working group. The ultimate objective of this working group is to make a set of recommendations on the reflection topics for the attention of the 18th session of the Intergovernmental Committee that will meet in December this year in Kasane, Botswana. The recommendations of this working group will determine to a large extent how creatively and successfully the Convention would be able to highlight and put to use the safeguarding experiences of communities around the world. I'd like to urge each state to be as concrete as possible during the discussions and to propose practical and pragmatic ways forward, while addressing big picture issues of how to better bring to fore the voices of communities and their aspirations for safeguarding their living heritage. I'd like to thank you all again for coming, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Before going any further, I'd like to ask my colleague Fumiko to provide some practical information about the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And please allow me to welcome the participants in my turn to this meeting. Good morning to you all. I hope that you are seated comfortably. The seating arrangements are made according to the French alphabetical order of states parties which registered for this meeting. The order begins with those states parties whose names start with the letter N, N for November. The letter N was picked by the 17th session of the Intergovernmental Committee last December for determining the sequence in which the 2023 cycle nomination files are examined, and the same letter N will also determine the seating arrangements of the 18th session of the committee, which will meet later this year. For those states parties that did not register prior to the meeting, nameplates can be found on the counter placed just outside this room. Finally, observers are placed behind states parties towards the back of the room. Just to say that the agenda, objectives, and working methodology of this meeting will be presented in detail under the next item. So I would just mention that there will be 2 sessions each day. The morning sessions from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30, and the afternoon sessions from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. This is an in-person meeting with no possibility for states parties and observers to intervene online. The meeting, however, will be broadcasted in real time on the dedicated webpage of our convention. Et je passe maintenant pour un petit moment en français. Les langues de travail de ce groupe sont celles du comité, à savoir l'anglais et le français. Une interprétation simultanée est assurée dans ces langues. Les documents de travail de cette réunion ont été mis à disposition le 14 juin en anglais et en français sur la page de la convention dédiée à cette réunion. Permettez-moi de mentionner que le document 3 a été révisé le 30 juin. Il s'agissait d'une révision d'ordre administratif visant à corriger la numérotation des points de discussion, puisque le point 7 était manquant et il a sauté le 6 à 8. Par conséquent, le document 1 a également été révisé le même jour pour refléter la révision du document 3 dans la liste des documents de travail. En outre, veuillez vous référer à l'édition 2022 des textes fondamentaux de la Convention de 2003, disponibles dans les 6 versions linguistiques. Des exemplaires de ces textes sont disponibles en ligne, ainsi que sur le comptoir à l'extérieur de cette salle. Cette édition reflète les amendements adoptés par la 9e session de l'Assemblée générale des États parties qui s'est tenue en juillet l'année dernière. Finalement, le groupe de travail adoptera un ensemble de recommandations. Conformément à notre pratique habituelle, seuls les États parties à la Convention peuvent proposer des amendements, soit oralement, en prenant la parole, soit en envoyant des propositions par courrier électronique. Si vous souhaitez soumettre des propositions par écrit, merci d'utiliser le formulaire d'amendement disponible sur la page web dédiée et l'envoyer par courrier électronique à l'adresse ICH amendement qui est sur les écrans. Et merci d'indiquer le nom de votre pays sur le formulaire. Merci beaucoup, Tim.
Thank you, Fumiko. So the first order of business, of course, is to elect the members of the Bureau, and starting with your chairperson. I understand there's been some discussions and there may be a proposal for the chairperson of the working group. Switzerland, the floor is yours.
Merci beaucoup. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. La Suisse a le plaisir de proposer à la présidence la Suède en la personne de M. Martin Sundin, Director General of the Institute for Language and Folklore.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I ask if there's a delegation to support this proposition? I see Botswana. Jim. Botswana.
Thank you very much, Tim. I second the proposal.
Romania, did you want to speak? Just as and Romania. So congratulations. I think we can agree by acclamation that Mr. Martin Sundin will serve as chairperson of this working group. And I would like to now ask Mr. Martin Sundin to take the chairperson's place on the podium. Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, let me thank you for honoring me with your trust as chairperson of this open-ended intergovernmental working group. It's my sincere intention to conduct our business in order to achieve concrete and constructive outcomes. In many ways, the Article 18 is one of the cores of this convention. So we have 3 very important days ahead of us, but the groundwork has been done, and I trust that we will have a very fruitful discussion during these days. We now have to fill the position of vice chairpersons in the Bureau, who will be asked to replace me at the podium if I'm unable at any time. As you may have read in the working documents, the proposal is that the open-ended working group should elect a team of vice chairpersons, one from each electoral group, who would also double as rapporteurs. The exception is Group 1, since I'm representing that group. This approach is proposed so that the outcomes of the meeting, which will then be presented to the governing bodies of the Convention, are the results of a consensus built on a geographical balance. The Bureau members of this working group will meet every day in room 7 from 2 to 2:30 p.m. just before the beginning of the afternoon sessions to review the progress of the meeting. The Bureau meetings will also serve to prepare the draft recommendations of our meeting to be presented in plenary in the afternoon of the 3rd day on Thursday this week. I'm confident that this approach should help us avoid lengthy discussion on the exact wordings and punctuation, and also and allow us instead to focus on the essential. I understand that the Bureau will meet in private, as indicated in the agenda, and this in keeping the practice used for earlier meetings of the open-ended intergovernmental group of the 2003 Convention. May I suggest that we proceed to the election of the vice chairpersons? I understand that the Bureau members of the 18th session of the committee has undertaken consultations within their respective group, and they are ready with proposals. Okay. So you see on the screen, I've been elected as chairperson. Thank you again. We now have electoral group 2. Do we have any proposals regarding electoral group 2 from the floor? Yes, Czechia, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson, and congratulations for your election. The group 2 has a candidate for the Bureau to the position of the vice chairperson, and this is Estonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Estonia for electoral group 2. Then we have electoral group 3. Do we have any? Yes, Guatemala. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would like to pronounce that Peru is going to be our candidate for the group number 3.
Thank you, Guatemala. Peru for group number 3. Now we go on to group number 4. Have any?
Bangladesh is not in the room. We understand.
No.
Group 4.
Still waiting for group 4.
We heard that there was a proposal for the Philippines, but Bangladesh is supposed to propose.
Okay. Should we go on to?
Okay, maybe go to. We'll wait.
Okay, we'll wait.
Go to group 5A.
Okay, we'll get back to group number 4. Now to group number 5A. Do we have any proposals regarding that? Yes. Botswana, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair, and congratulations for assuming the chair. Group 5A nominates Angola.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Angola for 5A. And then finally, or...
Go back to group 4.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go back to group 4 again. Anyone willing to leave a proposal for the chair? No?
Japan.
Yes, Japan, please. You have the floor.
Good morning, everyone, and congratulations, Chair, for the election. Japan would like to propose Philippines as the Vice Chair from Group 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Japan. The Philippines.
Is that okay? Philippines, are you okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Philippines. And now, finally, for electoral group 5B, do we have any proposals? Yes, Morocco, please, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and congratulations for your election. The Kingdom of Morocco will be representing Group 5B.
Thank you. Morocco, yes. Welcome, Morocco. Thank you. I'm glad that the Bureau, the working group, has been established smoothly. Thank you for your cooperation. Dear Bureau members, congratulations and welcome. I look forward to working closely together with each of you. Our first meeting, as I said, will take place at 2 p.m. today in room number 7. Item 1.